Coming up in this episode of PWD Allies podcast.
Whether you had a good time or a bad time, you're still depressed because, like, I still should be having a good time. Or it's like, you know, like, why did I have, or you could be thinking, like, why did I have a bad time at Christmas? And it's the same. Like, it's a negative response.
PWD Allies, the best disability podcast in Canada. Starring your hosts, Brent Frayne. And as always, his producer and editor, Neil Matheson.
Are we reeling from the Christmas blues, the holiday blues? Yeah, it's welcome to 2026. Wow, what a year 2025 was. Is 2026 going to be better? Well, we need to still get through 2025 as we're making that transition into 2026, because a lot of people are still reeling from 2025 into 2026 because of the affordability, of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, cost of everything, food, bills, rent, in the now is what people are facing. Uncertain territory going forward, right? And I always like to be cautiously optimistic, and I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions.
That's part of it, Brent, and let's get into it because we're talking about post-Christmas blues.
Yeah.
And it's a real syndrome. It's not some made-up syndrome. It's a real syndrome.
Yeah.
A lot of people are affected by it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about it with from a disabled lens perspective, because when you look at things from a disabled lens perspective, it always kind of hits harder, I think, for people with disabilities, and we'll get into it. Like for example, there was a 2015 study done, or a survey done, and it showed that 64% of everybody experiences some form of post-holiday blues. So again, it's a real syndrome, but we're going to talk about how it may be affecting people with disabilities a little bit more so even than your able-bodied counterparts, right? And so the first thing we could talk about is just that the number one is the pressure and focus on togetherness. That the Christmas is like this whole focus on like getting together, and this focus on the pressure of getting family together, and so if you don't have the family, then you have the loneliness, the isolation, the grief, and the depression, and part of the isolation too. Again, if we put a disabled lens on it, is, if you have bad weather and if you're in a wheelchair, if there's snow on the ground, like, you're not going to get out as easily. And even for myself, like, I can get into it. It was kind of cool. Over the Christmas break, I had Jake was a singer and performer at this Christmas fair in Cloverdale. So he was in charge of piano playing and guitar playing and singing at this Cloverdale Christmas fair, and it was really cool. I got to go see him, and it was really neat. But you know what? Like, we went there, and I actually had a friend drive us there. It was great that he did that. But then I didn't want to stay the whole time because I wasn't sure about the bathroom, the accessibility, like how accessible the bathroom. Because I'm so picky about bathrooms now.
Yes.
Ever since I broke my hip, I'm really picky about bathrooms. Mm-hmm. So again, it goes back to kind of this isolation that can happen if you're a person with a disability because of lack of transportation or weather issues or lack of washroom issue or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And as you just alluded to, the thing about the taking stock of resolutions and stuff like that, and it's always a time of reflection, and it's almost like you're putting a magnifying glass on yourself, and you're saying, well, do I measure up? Like, sort of, is my disability or is my disabled body enough, kind of thing, or what else is wrong with me this year? You know what I mean? Like everybody's like super critical, but it's even easier to be more critical when you already have a pre-existing condition like a physical disability.
Oh, exactly. I mean, or add more disabilities on top of the disability.
Yeah.
As we get older, we get more. And then for me to for me personally, like to reflect over the holiday season, just a little FYI to people, like myself and Sonia, we didn't go away for Christmas this season. There was just some illness in the family. I mean, so we just stayed local, and just having just people around us, phone call away and stuff, and we just enjoyed the season. I mean, the option would be that we could have went maybe if the option was available, but it was illness in the family, so we figured we better stay away. We don't want to catch some colds and stuff, right? That's all we need. That kind of compounds on top of your disabilities, on top of makes it not so good of a season. Not that we didn't want to visit, family for sure, but we know that a phone call away was perfectly good. And but I mean, accessibility wise, though, I mean, like I get into it before from last year. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm talking about 2025 from last year because we're now in a new year. But I would talk a lot on the podcast regarding transportation again. The accessibility issue regarding the transit, it's not good. Like you can go one way, but then you can't get back. So that if we say we wanted to come back the same day or like say the next day, well, no.
Yeah, like Victoria to Nanaimo is not.
Yeah, like to get to Duncan, it was. I mean, you can go one way, but you can't get back only on a Saturday. Unless we took a island link, which is $45 per person one way, and then but you have to book it in advance you take a chance and show up and pay the bus driver cash.
So that's $180 round trip. Then
it's expensive, right? So
that perfectly rolls into our second one, Brent, and that's financial strain of the festive season. So budgeting for the expense of whether it's the gift giving or just the expense of the transportation to get somewhere. So that's number two of what can cause the post-holiday stress, the Christmas blues. We have, it's rampant with commercialism. It's like, all those commercials that was like more, and everybody's buying new laptops for each other or new 55-inch TVs, and it's just like, and that's not really doable for a lot of people. And so there's these unreasonable expectations for like perfection, or this idea that you have to be nonstop in a state of joy, like all the time, like
like you got to keep up with your neighbors. All your neighbors are getting this. You feel that you need to get this, but you can't.
Exactly.
And the way I look at it is, it's a new year. The calendar just rolls over to the next month. It's a new year, but the person's finances haven't changed. Everything has gone up in prices, affordability. It doesn't matter where I look or who I talk to in my community, or if I go up to the mall just as a bus ride just to get out. And I hear people in a distance talking about affordability. And I thought, okay, we're not alone. Like everybody's talking about it. There's such a high surge of food bank usage in Canada. Like I never thought.
And you know what, Brent? I went to. I've gone to Superstore the last couple of times, like pretty recently, and I went to their freezer section because I thought, well, let me try to find like a cheap, quick meal that we can make, that because after the holidays you don't really feel like cooking much, and I like to give my wife a bit of a break. So one of the quick meals that I sometimes get is like the shepherd's pie. Like that's the Scottish, that's my Scottish roots, right? The shepherd's pie is like classic Scottish dish. So I see the shepherd's pie in the freezer. Well, it used to get like a I don't know, what is it,
big,
like
a big one, yeah, big,
something like that, and it was like,
yeah,
I don't know, I think it used to be like 10
11,
bucks.
10, 11,
I
yeah,
think it was about 10 or 11 bucks.
yeah,
I looked the other day. It's $18 now.
yeah.
For that size, $18 for that.
Wow.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm not paying $18." Like, because you're talking like it's mashed potato, which potatoes are like penny, like they're super
Oh,
cheap, right?
yeah,
And a little bit of ground beef, and
yeah.
you're saying I'm going to pay $18 for a little bit of ground beef and mashed potatoes?
It had the gold stamp on it. That's why.
I was like, holy cow! I couldn't believe it.
I
Couldn't
know.
believe it, Brent.
Last time when I was in the store, I was just looking at these prices, and I think, wow, like it's like not even like over a year ago what the prices were. I
Yeah,
just could not believe these prices. I mean, a big container of lasagna,
yeah,
and it was on sale. It was on sale for 13.88,
yeah.
and the regular price was way up there.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe just like the basics. I mean, and those
Hmm.
items used to be going on sale for like 6.99, and
Yeah.
now they're 13.88. I mean, they just they're your basic staples.
Yeah.
I can't believe the prices have shot up so much, and shrinkflation.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
circulation too. Yeah.
yeah. On top of that,
Yeah.
it's mind-boggling. But meanwhile, people's incomes haven't gone up.
Yeah. And I
It's
mean,
all,
it affects everybody, but
yeah.
like we're saying, it affects people with disabilities a bit harder, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, you're already dealing with a fixed income as it is, so it just hits harder. Let's move on to number 3, and that's family dynamics and past trauma is a big one for a lot of people. Sometimes the past trauma comes from families. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, in my case, like again, like with my first wife, you know, I remember the first Christmas without her was tough,
Yeah.
and so you think about people that you've lost, and whether it's a grandparent, a parent, or a wife or whomever.
Yeah.
It's stressful, and it's hard, and so that's why Christmas can be hard, just that. And and we're going to get more into this later on, but there is a really strong connection with your a person's brain, our brains, and the physical results, like the physical connection to our brain. What I mean by that is, like, you have things like our stress hormones, and things like their stress hormones are higher when things are kind of at a peak, and then you have
Yeah.
things like something called a love hormone, which is the oxytocin. So when you're around people and you're having a good time, your oxytocin is higher. Things like that, or your dopamine, your dopamine is higher, which is that pleasure, your pleasure kind of meter is higher. But then,
Yeah,
but
your,
then,
uh, your cortisol level too, and it's also interconnected with that too.
yeah, and then when suddenly all that goes away, all of a sudden you got this crash of adrenaline, you got this crash of dopamine, you got this, the oxytocin is kind of not there anymore, and you're like, oh, I feel like shit now,
Yeah.
and it's just a natural reaction. It's a natural physiological reaction that your body is having with our brains.
Yeah,
So
it's trying to adapt
yeah.
to the circumstances that a person's going through.
Hmm.
I can relate to a lot of that in the past Christmas blues, holiday blues, and um, missing my mom and my mother over years. This year will make it 20 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Coming up like later this year,
Yeah.
the passing. That's of my mom. My mother's just over 10 years now. God rest their souls. Over the holiday season, I do think of loved ones from time to time, and old past friends who have passed over the years too, and just people who have passed through in my life from time to time. And you cherish those moments. it does bring a lot of blues, like over times too. But I also cherish the good memories
Yeah.
of whatever the situation is.
But it starts with taking care of yourself too, Brent.
Yes.
And that flows into number 4 on the list. We're going to be talking about 5 things. We're on 4 now, and the 4th one is changes in sleeping and eating patterns. Is what can cause stress too.
Yeah.
And because you either don't sleep enough or you overeat, and so again, our bodies are machines, and so if you treat your body badly,
Yeah.
your body can rebel a little bit. And again, it's more, it can hit somebody with a disability a little bit harder because you're already dealing with an imperfect body already, right?
A lot of internal and physical.
Yeah.
And
So like you have bodies that don't handle wear and tear as well as, say, somebody that's a bit healthier, and they always talk about garbage in, garbage out. So if you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well, you're gonna get garbage out, right? And you're gonna feel like crap. That's just how it goes, right?
Yeah, I mean, people on a fixed income. I mean, they're not able to buy healthy foods. Maybe they buy the wrong food choices.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a can of ravioli for dinner. I mean, it's like, hey, I mean, I had a can of ravioli for dinner last night. I mean,
I won't touch this stuff now. I just can't.
Yeah. I mean, my tummy was just flip flopping at me, but I don't eat the stuff too often, right? But the odd time, I mean, maybe some macaroni and cheese or something. Good old
macaroni and cheese is good.
Yeah, I like
it's comfort food. I like comfort food. Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll have a grilled cheese sandwich and a bowl of soup.
Yep.
And some people will say, "Oh, no, you shouldn't be eating that stuff. That's terrible, terrible." I mean, but when you're on a fixed budget, you gotta really just kind of look at what can you have that's gonna make you feel your tummy and make your system feel somewhat good, but not overly bad.
Yeah.
As you just mentioned, like you feed it crap, it's gonna spit out crap, right?
That's right. Yeah. I just wanted to wrap up a little bit and say, like, this whole thing that we're talking about, the official kind of technical term for everything we're talking about is it's called Seasonal Affective Disorder. Or it's called SAD for short, Seasonal Affective Disorder. And it's called SAD for short, so it's kind of appropriate, right? And and the reason that happens is you have the lack of sunlight in the winter. So again, it's kind of a physiological response, a natural physiological response from our bodies, which are machines. So they're just reacting to kind of the inputs that we're receiving from the outside world. Is like, well, this is dark and depressing. I guess I'll be dark and depressed too, right?
Well, especially when like this time of the year, we don't get as much sunlight up on the northern hemisphere as in in North America, up north of North America. So up in here in the western BC, south coast of BC, we don't get as much sunlight. And now maybe in certain other areas across the country, maybe across the prairies, they probably got a lot more sunlight, a lot more colder than we do in southwest BC. We haven't had any snow, everybody.
I know, not yet.
Not yet. Not on the south coast. Not yet. So wishful thinking. And that some people say, "Oh no, Brent, don't curse that. Don't curse it." But we haven't had any, which is very unusual for this time of the year. I'm not complaining because at the same time, it's for accessibility wise, it's harder to get around.
Yeah.
And of course, you're waiting for a bus, and if you look at the intro at the beginning of our show, you're going to see Brent standing here in big puddles of sploosh. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a new intro this year, so I'm hoping people enjoy it. One of the things that's interesting about the seasonal affective disorder, the SAD, one of the interesting things is it talks about the emotional toll that your body feels, whether you had a good vacation or a bad vacation. It doesn't really matter. Like, how when you come back, if like when I was working, for example, when I was working full time, and I'd come back from the holidays, and you're at work, and you're like, why am I at work? This sucks. so it's whether you had a good or a bad one.
Yeah.
You're thinking about if you had a bad one, you're thinking about how bad that was, and you're thinking, oh, crap, I could have done that better. And now I'm at work, which is even worse, right? Or if it was a good one, you're thinking, why am I at work? I should go back and relive all that fun times I was having at Christmas time. So whether you had a good or bad time, that emotional toll that your body, like your brain tricks you. Your brain tricks you into feeling crappy, whether you had a good time or bad time. So you're still, whether you had a good time or a bad time, you're still depressed because, like, I still should be having a good time. Or it's like, why did I have, or you could be thinking, like, why did I have a bad time at Christmas? And it's the same. Like, it's a negative response. Either way, whether it was a good time or a bad time, your body or your brain tricks you into like putting a negative spin on it, and then that's why, again, you feel that kind of sadness, or that depression, that post-Christmas blues, right?
Yeah, and you can't go back there and edit out that part, part of it and say, hey, I'm going to fill in some positive things within that. Because unfortunately, the brain will basically just say how it is.
It's just interesting that our brains will trick us regardless of what we thought. It'll just trick us.
Yeah, because there's other times where if it's dark and gloomy, like in this time of the year, it's really gloomy. Like if I look outside right now, the sky is really gloomy, like it's gray. It's not raining, but I mean, when it's rainy and gloomy and cloudy and it's like, it's just cool out and the wind's blowing a little bit, it's like, oh, yuck, And of course, the mind, it automatically says, oh, this is not good, right? The body says, it's not that bad. I mean, I can adapt to it. But when you get out there, if the weather elements, when I say the body says I can adapt to it, but when you actually go out into it, if it's too extreme, now the body says, oh, hang on, why are you saying it's okay? Because the mind says, well, looking at it, it shouldn't be that bad. So it's the mind versus the body, and the body says, hell no, Brent. No,
you're lying to me, Brent.
You're lying to me.
You're lying to me, Brent.
Yeah, and then you start feeling the impacts of the weather, right? Because it's weather related. You start having any aches here and there, and I can tell you, like, hey, remember your knees, you're aching a little bit here and there. It's like, oh, hang on, or your back is aching a little bit. I mean, depending on the situation for the person. Mobility-wise, yes, weather can definitely affect.
Well, I know for myself, like with cerebral palsy, again, like cerebral palsy is a mobility thing, of course, right? Where you have, what do you call it? Can't even think of the word now, but where everything is tight, or it's called muscle tone, right? Yeah. And I tell you, if it's cold out, the tightness in my body, it gets a lot worse, right? Like I feel it. So anyway, I just wanted to wrap up. We can quickly wrap up in ways that you can kind of avoid the Christmas blues. And I know Christmas is already done and New Year's is already done, but we can start preparing for next year, right? And preparing for any other stress that comes down the pipe for 2026, because we all know that 2026 is probably not going to be rosy. So we got to prepare for stress now.
Yep.
And so
prepare.
The way you do that is to look after yourself. So it's a lot of just self-care, right? Look after yourself. Be kind to yourself. Keep busy, but not too busy. Like part of the stress is like if you overbook yourself and try to do too much, that can lead to stress. But so you want to keep busy, fill your calendar up, but also leave time for just to relax and enjoy yourself. So schedule time for fun. Make sure you're having fun when you schedule time. Have fun. And the last thing I'll say is again, give yourself some patience and give yourself some grace to realize that it's just your body reacting naturally to, physiologically to natural stresses in the environment. Like the stress you feel, or I feel, is not is not abnormal. It's totally normal.
And as long as it's not induced by other external factors, yeah.
Well, actually, that's a good point. You make a great point, Brent, because one of the things we can talk about is, for example, alcohol. If you consume a lot of alcohol is one of those things that can contribute to feeling depressed.
Yeah.
It's got things in it which automatically will make you feel more depressed. And if you eat a lot of high sugar foods, which we all tend to do over the holidays too, a lot of high sugar foods will also send you into a depression tizzy as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I mean, all these things, you got to realize that there's a natural reason for these things. There's nothing wrong with you or I that we're feeling these things.
Oh, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our new format, and Neil's going to talk a little bit more about this before we end the segment here.
Yeah, we just decided to go to a little bit more of a condensed format. We might not be running as many live episodes this year, but we will be still having live chats, so that when this episode releases, there'll still be a live chat, so people can still leave comments both in live chat or just in a comment below the video, just a normal. And like I'm looking at comments, so if you have a comment on the show, as like you can say this new format sucks, I hate it. Let us know. But you might like it, so give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes.
But subscribe, like, and share.
So subscribe, like, and share, and share it out, because we want to grow the channel. And I thought one of the biggest ways we can grow the channel is to try out this new condensed format and see if it attracts more or gets more traction.
And again, thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast.
Yes.